The sun was dipping low over the rugged horizon, casting long amber shadows across the arid plains where the Apache rancher, Caleb, rode his horse, Dusty, through the rolling hills. Caleb had spent most of his life on this land, tending to his cattle, fixing fences, and keeping a careful distance from the townsfolk who whispered about the Apache heritage that ran deep in his veins. Yet despite his solitary existence, there was an undeniable calm that came with knowing every inch of the land he called home. That evening, as he rounded a bend near a dry creek, a figure appeared, a woman standing alone, with a quiet grace that seemed to belong to the wind and the wild itself. Her long dark hair danced in the gentle breeze, and her eyes, fierce yet tender, met his with a surprising intensity. She was not just any traveler. There was an unmistakable strength in her posture, a presence that seemed both challenging and inviting. Caleb slowed Dusty, keeping his distance, unsure whether to speak or simply observe. The woman's lips curved into a faint smile as if she had been expecting him. "Evening, stranger," she said softly, her voice carrying over the whispering wind. "I didn't mean to startle you." Caleb tipped his hat, curiosity flickering in his eyes. "You don't look lost. What brings you to these parts?" The woman's gaze drifted to the horizon, to the fading sun, and back to him. "I came for a reason," she said, her tone steady, almost daring him to ask more. "And it involves you." His brow furrowed. Caleb had grown used to life without surprises, but something in her voice, a mix of certainty and vulnerability, pulled at a part of him he had long kept buried. Without realizing it, he dismounted, Dusty neighing softly as he adjusted the reins. "And what might that be?" he asked cautiously, his eyes scanning hers for a hint. Any sign that she might be dangerous, or worse, a liar. "I know what you've been guarding," she said, stepping closer. "Your heart. You hide it behind work, behind land, behind the silence of the plains. But I see it. And I'm not afraid." Caleb's chest tightened. Few had ever read him so clearly, and fewer still had dared to approach it so openly. There was a moment, a heartbeat, stretched into eternity where the wind seemed to hold its breath, the world narrowing to just the two of them. Then, almost imperceptibly, she placed her hand over her stomach and spoke words that made the world shift beneath him. "I will have your baby," she said, her voice unwavering, her eyes shining with certainty. Caleb's mind reeled. The plains, the sun, the wind. It all seemed to blur as he tried to process the words. He felt a pull, a magnetic force drawing him closer to this woman who had appeared out of nowhere and yet seemed to belong somewhere he hadn't even known existed in his life, in his heart. His instinct, honed from years of reading land and people alike, told him that she spoke truth, that she carried more than just herself. She carried a spark that could ignite a part of him long dormant. And for the first time in years, Caleb felt an unfamiliar vulnerability, a thrilling, terrifying vulnerability that whispered of love, of change, of something he had never dared to imagine. Before he could respond with words, the woman stepped forward, placing her hand over his heart. "I don't ask lightly," she said. "I know what I want, and I know what you can give me. But more than that, I want us to be honest with ourselves. Fear has no place here." Caleb's breath caught. There was a simplicity in her declaration that made the complicated fears in his mind seem petty, almost laughable. His life had been built on routine, on boundaries, on keeping people at arm's length. But this moment, this woman demanded everything he had tried to keep hidden, and in the quiet of the desert sunset, with the plains stretching endlessly around them, Caleb felt something stir, something old and new all at once. His fingers brushed hers, and he realized he was not resisting. He smiled, slow and tentative at first, then broader as a warmth spread through him. "Then I guess we have a lot to figure out," he said, the words carrying a weight he hadn't expected. "But if you truly mean it, then I'll give you my heart, all of it." The woman's eyes glistened, a mixture of relief and joy. In that shared silence, with the wind whispering and the land holding its breath, a new chapter of their lives began, one of courage, vulnerability, and the promise of something neither had dared to name before. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the full tale. Chapter 2 will take you deeper into Caleb and her journey, and you won't want to miss a moment of the adventure and romance that follows. The days that followed were unlike any Caleb had ever known. The ranch, once quiet and methodical, now pulsed with a new energy, the energy of a shared life beginning to bloom. The woman, whose name was Aylen, became a constant presence, moving through the fields with a confidence and grace that seemed inseparable. From the wind itself, she learned the rhythm of the land, the names of the cattle, the ways to calm Dusty when he grew restless under the sun. But more than that, she learned Caleb, not the rancher others whispered about, but the man beneath the rugged exterior. He was quiet, yes, but fiercely loyal, deeply thoughtful, and capable of a tenderness that startled even himself. One evening, as the sky bled into shades of crimson and violet, Aylen approached Caleb, who was repairing a broken fence post. She carried a small bundle in her arms, a mix of wildflowers she had gathered from the hillsides, a gesture of simplicity yet profound meaning. "For you," she said softly, offering him the flowers. Caleb took them, inhaling their sweet fragrance, the warmth of her hand lingering against his. "Why these?" he asked, his voice low, almost hesitant. "Because they remind me of this land," Aylen said, her eyes searching his. "And because they remind me of us. Fragile, beautiful, and capable of growing anywhere if we nurture it." Caleb felt a lump in his throat. Words, as always, seemed inadequate to the depth of feeling rising within him. But he didn't need words. His actions spoke louder. He wrapped his arms around her, holding her close as if he could shield her from every danger the world might throw their way. In that embrace, the boundaries of solitude he had built over decades crumbled. His heart, once guarded, now beat openly, and he felt an unfamiliar but thrilling certainty. He would protect this love, and this life they were about to create, with every fiber of his being. Aylen smiled, a gentle laugh escaping her lips as she tilted her head to rest against his chest. "Caleb," she whispered, "I know our path won't be easy. There will be hardships, doubts, and challenges. But I also know that with you, I can face them all, and together, we will make something extraordinary." Caleb nodded, feeling the truth of her words echo through him. "I've lived a long time alone," he said, "but I never realized what I was missing until you came. And now I can't imagine facing tomorrow without you by my side, or the baby." Her eyes softened, shining with hope and love. "Then let's face it together," she said simply. And in that moment, neither the sun nor the wind could rival the light radiating between them. Over the following months, their bond deepened, unshakable and resilient. Aylen carried the promise of new life with strength and grace, and Caleb's love for her grew in ways he had never thought possible. Every morning they walked the ranch together, laughed over small victories, and found solace in shared silence. When challenges arose, from unpredictable storms to stubborn cattle, their partnership turned obstacles into triumphs, their hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of the land they cherished. One evening, as they watched the sun dip behind the hills, Caleb turned to Aylen, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I promised you my heart," he said softly, "and I'll keep that promise every single day. But more than that, I promise to love you, to protect you, and to give our child a life filled with the same courage and warmth you've brought to me." Aylen's eyes glistened, tears catching the golden light of the sunset. "And I promise to stand by you through everything. Caleb, you've given me a home, a heart, and now a family. There is nothing more I could ever wish for." As they embraced, the plains stretched endlessly around them, the land itself seeming to witness their love. And in that quiet, powerful moment, the world felt right because two hearts, once separate and guarded, had finally become one, beating together in trust, courage, and unwavering love. If you've enjoyed Caleb and Aylen's journey, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't miss more incredible stories, real emotions, and breathtaking moments like this. You'll want to be the first to see what happens next. If you want, I can also turn this into a YouTube-friendly script with timestamps, voiceover cues, and B-roll suggestions, so it's ready to go for a viral video. Do you want me to do that next?